Three labor unions are demanding the Indonesian House of Representatives to not pass the jobs creation emergency law in the next plenary session on Tuesday next week. These unions have even threatened to hold mass protests and strikes if the jobs creation government regulation is passed into law. This message was delivered during a press conference on Thursday held by three major Indonesian labor unions, namely the KSPSI, KSPI, and the KSBSI labor unions. These unions have expressed stern opposition towards the 2022 number 2 jobs creation emergency law, arguing that many of its articles put workers at a disadvantage. For example, one article states that minimum wages will be set based on certain indexes, but does not explicitly detail what that index is. Workers argue that this could make minimum wage calculations inaccurate and not reflecting the current inflation levels and economic conditions. Over 2,500 workers will stage a mass demonstration on the 14th of March, Tuesday next week, the day when the Indonesian House of Representatives will hold a plenary session to determine whether or not to pass the jobs creation emergency law.
Karena itu kami masih punya keyakinan pemerintah akan mendengar suara buruh, dan kalaupun tidak, kami akan siap 3 koperasi buruh terbesar Indonesia untuk menggugat dan mengambil jalur konstitusi, yaitu menggugat ke Mahkamah Konstitusi.
Akan memulainya lagi seperti yang dahulu dan membuat kita akan bersama-sama menjadi kuat untuk melakukan perlawanan, karena kita melihat isi Perpu ini sama sekali mendegradasi hak-hak buruh yang seperti dikatakan teman saya yang berdua tadi.
Meanwhile, according to the director of the Celios think tank, Bhima Yudhistira, if the jobs creation emergency law is passed, it would set a bad precedent, as the law was formulated without hearing the concerns of workers nor consulting with labor unions.
It's very, very obvious that any regulation process, as a constitutional court said, that must follow 2 things. The first one is about the process, which is transparent, inclusive. So if the government want to regulate the working conditions, minimum wage, and also job safety, for instance, or foreign workers' involvement, so they will attract more workers of the local trade union perspective. So that kind of the perspective is absent in the forming of the emergency law. So I think, yeah, if the government seems ignoring the voices of the stakeholders or the participants who are affected by the emergency law of the job creations, I think it's very, very bad precedents and also bad attitude towards economic and then clarity of the investment, and also creating unstable political risks for new investors.